Hello, wonderful students. Welcome to Chapter 11. Welcome to Chapter 11. We're moving on to a new topic. If you were glad to get done with fractions, you're in luck because we're going to be taking a break from that in our MyMath books to look at measurement. We're going to use measurement conversions to solve real-world problems. We're also going to be measuring some things. And we're going to start off with this first lesson, 11.1, which is on page number 801. Page number 801. You're going to need a ruler for this. If you have a ruler at your house, you can use it. If not, you can very carefully cut out this ruler that they've included in your book. And if you have a ruler that you have at home, you can obviously use that as well. If you're in our classroom, we'll have rulers, but if you don't have a ruler, you can always cut this one out. You'll notice it's the same. We've got 1, 2, 3. It's the same. So let's take a look and see what this says. If you need to pause the video to find or cut out a ruler, you may do that now. So it says, hands-on measuring with a ruler. It says length is the measurement of distance between 2 points. You can use a ruler to measure length of objects to the nearest half inch or quarter inch. So here's a ruler. There's 1 whole inch right there to the 1, 0 to 1. And then half an inch is this bigger line between the 1 and the 2. You'll notice there's a bigger line between the 0 and the 1. If I take a look at my ruler here, I have this slightly bigger line between the 0 and the 1, that's the half-inch line, and a slightly bigger line between the 0 and the 1, that's half inch. So quarter inch is this shorter lines. Each one of these lines is a quarter inch. So we've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 of 1. 1/4, 2/4 or a half. 3/4 and 4/4 or 1. So that's it. If you measure an object to a smaller unit of measure, you get a more precise measurement. So we're going to take a look at this example. Number 1 says the width of a button is the length of the widest part of the button. Find the length of this button to the nearest half inch or quarter inch. So it's got a ruler on here for you. So we're measuring from this point, the widest part of the button, to the widest part of the button. So we line this up on 0, and then you'll notice this comes down right here. It says to measure it to the nearest half inch and the nearest quarter inch. So you line it up at 0, and then you measure past 1, then 1 1/2, and it's close to 1 3/4 to the nearest quarter inch. So we've got, here's 1 and here's 2. To the nearest half inch, it's 1 1/2 inches wide. And to the nearest quarter inch, it's closest to the 1 3/4 of an inch. And remember, we've got 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. Okay, let's turn the page. It says, try it. Find the length of a paper clip to the nearest half of an inch. Well, you might not have a paper clip at your house, and so we'll measure one here. Here's a paper clip, and we're going to find it to the nearest half of an inch. So where's my cutout ruler? I've already lost it. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm going to take my cutout ruler, and I'm going to line it up so that the end is at 0. You can even put it on it. And then, so this one's right on the 0 line, and then there's the end. So, I'm going to hold it there. So, it says to measure it to the nearest half inch first. So, let's take a look. Is it closer to 1 1/2, or is it closer to 2? There's the 1 1/2 line, and there's 2. It's just a little bit closer, so I would say it's about 2 inches long. To the nearest quarter of an inch, we have 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, or 2. It's right in the middle of those, so it could be 1 3/4 or 2 inches long. Talk about it. Explain how you can tell the difference between 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch marks with a ruler. So the 1/2 inch marks are longer. 1/4 inch marks are shorter. Could you ever have the same answer when measuring to the nearest 1/2 inch and to the nearest 1/4 inch? Yeah, you could. We could have even done that with this one, right? We could have said, because it was right in the middle, that the nearest 1/2 inch is 2, and we could, it's almost, if it was just like that long, then the nearest 1/4 inch would also be 2. So we'll just put yes. And our last question down here says be precise. Circle the more precise measurement of the button. So is it more precise, more specific, if it's measured to the 1/2 inch or to the 3/4 inches? To the 1/4 inch. It's the 1/4 inches. We're more precise when we get those 1/4 inches in there. Okay, let's go to the practice page. Excuse me. We've got, yes, what else got something in her throat? Hold on, let me take a drink of water. Okay, we've got some peanuts here, a peanut and a fish. And it says to measure the length of each to the nearest 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. So we're going to take out our little ruler. We're going to line one end up at 0. And then we're going to go over to the last part of the peanut, so that's there. So to the nearest 1/2 inch, we've got 1 1/2. Here's my 1/2 inch mark. 1 1/2. It's closer to the 1/2 than it is to the 2. So 1 1/2 inches. And when we measure it to the 1/4 mark, it's closer to this one, to the 3/4. 1 3/4 inch. Let's look at our goldfish. We started at 0, and first we measure it to the 1/2 inch mark. So we've got 1 inch, 2 inches. Oh, that's easy, 2 1/2. Now let's look at the 1/4 inch. We'll get more precise. 1 inch, 2 inches. It is right on 2 1/2, so it doesn't change. It's closer to 2 1/2 than it is to 2 1/4 or 2 3/4. So that one doesn't change. Okay, find the length of each object to the nearest 1/2 and 1/4 inch. Width of a book. So you could take any random book that you have nearby you, your AR book maybe. I have this book right here, and I'll measure this, but you can measure yours. Yours is going to be different than mine. So I'm going to line up the one edge on 0 and the other edge there. So to the nearest 1/2 inch, it's close to 1/2 inch. And to the nearest 3/4, it's almost 3/4 inch. Okay. The width of a calculator. I don't even have a calculator, so instead I'll use my phone, because that's my calculator nowadays. Although I cannot find my phone at the moment. My phone has been stolen. So let's just, if you don't have a calculator or something, pick something else. Let's do the width of an eraser. Okay, so here's an eraser, and I'm going to measure the width of it. So I line up one edge on the 0, and then I measure across, and I've got, it's almost 1/2 inch. It's almost 1/2 inch. There's that 1/2 inch mark. But if we're measuring it accurately to the 1/4 inch, I would say it's 1/4 inch. Okay, length of a pencil. I don't have a pencil, but I have a pen. Now this is going to be tricky if you only have this paper one, because you're going to have to hold your spot. So you're going to have to go, it's longer than 3, so you're going to have to like mark right there, and then move your ruler and line it up again. So we had 3 inches, so we're adding 1 more is 4, 1 more is 5. It's 5.5 inches. And actually, that's almost exactly lined up with that 1/2 inch, so that's the most accurate. So it's 5.5 inches no matter what, even if we get more precise. And finally, the length of a tape dispenser. Here's a tape dispenser. If you don't have a tape dispenser at home, then just go ahead and use any object. You can make it up. So we're going to go to the widest part and line it up at 0. So let's go like that. And then I'm going to mark my spot. That's 3 inches. Now I'm going to line this up. And so I've got 3 plus 1 is 4 inches, 5 inches. Ooh, almost 6 inches to the half mark. 6 inches. And to the 3/4, it's just almost at, if I curl it over there, I can see it's at 5 3/4 of an inch. 5 3/4 of an inch. Okay, this time we're going to draw a line segment with the following lengths. So this is pretty easy. We're going to do 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to put my ruler down, and I'm going to draw a line starting at 0 and going to 1 1/4. There's our 1/4. So this is 1 1/4 inches. Now it wants 2 1/2. So I start at 0 and I go all the way 1, 2 to the half line right there. 2 1/2 inches. And then 3 3/4. Well, my ruler here only goes to 3. My ruler here only goes to 3 inches. So I'm going to do all 3. 3, and then I'm going to go add on, start right there from 0, 3/4 of an inch. So 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. So I'm going to go right there. And this is 3 3/4 of an inch. Feel free to stop here if you need more time. If not, we're going to turn the page. Okay, it says the length of a remote control car is 8.5 inches to the nearest 1/2 inch and 8 1/4 inch to the nearest 1/4 inch. Which is more precise? Remember, as we start using 1/4 inches, we get more precise, we get more specific, more narrowed down. And here's our mathematical practice, is to be precise. Carrie and Sam each measured the length of their cat's tail. Okay, so here's this cat. Carrie measured the length to the nearest 1/2 inch. Her measurement was 6.5 inches. Sam measured the length to the nearest 1/4 inch, and his measurement was 6 3/4 inches. Circle the correct description of the actual measurement of the cat's tail. So if she measured it and got 6.5 to the nearest 1/2 inch, and he got 6 3/4, is it less than 6.5 inches? Remember, he was very accurate, so it's not less than 6.5. Is it greater than 6 3/4? If it was greater than 6 3/4, it seems like she would have measured it to 7 inches. So it seems like it's somewhere between 6.5 and 6 3/4. Okay, we're going to find this error in mathematical practice, which is number 3, which is to justify our answers and critique other people's work. James used a ruler to measure a piece of string. James said the string is 2.5 inches long. Find his mistake and correct it. So we've got this string, and he measured, and it looks like, that is the 2.5 inch mark. That's 2 1/2, but what did he do wrong? Go ahead and put your guess on what he did wrong, and then come back and check your work. So pause here and come back and check your work. Okay, so what he did wrong, you guys, is he didn't line up the end of the string with 0. He lined it up with this 1/2 inch. So you see if we line it up with 0, it's actually a 2-inch long string. It's a 2-inch long string, not 2.5. So he didn't line it up with 0. Okay, my friends, that is all for today. Great work. Have a fantastic day.